had a question. I left in the middle of the beginning. Did I miss anything?
No, you didn't miss nothing, but I can't even really hear you, Joe. You probably gonna have to talk up just a little bit louder.
Yeah.
Hello? Could you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. With the birth certificate authentication, I could actually go to the courthouse and hand it to them.
No, you mean
Or
to go
does
get
it
your birth certificate authenticated?
Yeah.
No. When you go get your birth certificate, do you already have a copy of your loan form?
Loan form? No.
Yeah, your birth certificate, your certificate of live birth, rather.
Oh, yeah.
All right, that's what that is. Now you got a short form and a long form. The long form is just a form with all of the information on it. So, hang on 1 second.
Let me mute myself.
All right. So here we go. Now, the loan form is obviously the one that I'm anticipating that you actually got. It's already notarized and everything. So you don't have to go down to the courthouse to do nothing unless the Secretary of State, unless the or whatever their office of authentication is at you guys' court building. Because if I'm not mistaken, even in Oklahoma, Solar, where did you have to go to y'all court building?
Yeah, it was just the courthouse. It was real easy, man. Just walk in and turn the paper in, and that was it. I mean, it wasn't hard here.
So yeah, Joe, what state you in?
I'm in Florida.
The first thing we're gonna have to find out is where is the office located at? Is it located at the court building? Because in some states, they got their own individual office. Like me, for instance, in Illinois, I had to send mine to the Secretary of State building. You see, some people don't. You got to send it to a courthouse. Some people's got to send it to. They got some type of a state department or the municipal department inside of the district where they live. But we're gonna have to figure out exactly where it go to in your district. That's why you just have to get with me on a one-on-one basis or something so that I can actually look into it specifically.
Okay.
But
if I was to do that, I could.
Go ahead.
So I could just put my birth certificate in a mail or envelope and just send it out to them if I'm not able to actually go to the courthouse?
Yeah, because once we find out the address of where you got to send that or where you got to take it to be authenticated, all you have to do is just go get a money order, print out the form offline, fill it out, put everything inside of a manila envelope, make sure you pre-stamp and fill out the return envelope, put all of that stuff inside of a manila envelope, send it certified or registered mail.
Okay.
The only thing about it is the difference between sending it in and taking it in yourself is that when you mail it in, they got 30 days to send it back. They got 30 days actually to answer it and send it back. You see what I'm saying? So when you walk it in, they do it right there on the spot.
It's faster. Okay. So what could I look up? Look up the Secretary of State.
No, look up for your state, look up Office of Authentication and Apostille.
Office of Authentication and what?
Apostille.
Oh, Apostille, okay.
Yep. Anybody else on the floor with it? Anybody else got any questions about that process?
I would just definitely say, if you can walk it in, make sure you walk it in because it's a lot faster.
Tallahassee. That's 6 hours. God, thanks.
Ooh.
Hey, it'll most definitely save you a lot of time and a lot of energy, boy. If you close enough, within I'm gonna say within an hour range, and you can drive there, I would drive it.
It's 6 hours, but I'll take the drive because
Oh no, I ain't gonna take the 6. I ain't taking the 6. I'm mailing it. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, for myself, I'm doing 3-hour drive, but it's in Texas. You can get a lot done. You can get a lot done there.
Yeah.
If you do
But
have to
we
mail
ain't
it, I
going by
mean,
ourselves though. G, we bringing the crew.
This is too far.
okay. So if I send it now and it's 30 days and it stops in December, would it be authenticated in time
Yeah.
before they try to stop that way?
Yeah.
Okay.
It don't necessarily mean that they're gonna take 30 days to actually do it. I mean, it's just paperwork. Like most
Yeah.
people it's a stigma inside of people's mind that when it's processing this paperwork, they start to think that there's some type of a railroading or, like something that they need to be alarmed of or afraid of. The only thing you got to be afraid of is, and I mean this like with the utmost, is your own ignorance. Not saying that somebody is stupid, meaning that, the lack of information that you actually have about something is what make you scared trying to pursue it. You see what I mean? Like I say, this process been going on for a long time. A lot of people have actually been doing it. It's just that now that we're getting wind of it, it seems like it's new news to us.
Yes,
but I was
brother.
I was just
Actually
gonna
wanted
say,
to add something to that. Now, this is, I do not have any first account sources of this, but when I was out sharing this information yesterday, I had one of the other participants of the event. It also has knowledge of what it is that we are all here today talking about, and she said something about, as of October 1st, we're under common law, and by the end of the year, they're trying to change up the currency. Now, again, I don't have a source in this, and I'm not saying this is true, but I did a little reading online, and I don't know if it's a rumor or what. I just want to put that onto the table because I want to do some more research on that. I'm not been able to confirm this, but it sparked my interest.
Hey, Brandon, let me show you something. We always been functioning under common law.
Right.
The thing about it is under common law, you have this right? This immunity. And this immunity states that you are free to contract freely as you choose. Under common law, we enter into contracts, which are most times unilateral quasi-contracts. You see what I mean? We just sign contracts. We sign permissions, but we never read what those contracts or what those permissions mean, or get a real good understanding of the types of restrictions that are placed into our reality by agreeing to them. So, bro, we always been functioning under common law, whether you know it or not. It's just that there's two aspects of law: private law, public law. Private law has not been abolished. Private law has always been functioning. And then public law is statutory law. Statutory law, codes, regulations, and things like that. If we don't get a good understanding of how to discern the difference between public and private law, then we always getting foisted up under the public side of it, not realizing that under the public side of it, the straw man is always guilty. The straw man is always holding the surety, the debt. He's always liable. You see what I mean? Because why? Judges don't want to communicate openly with you when they say this in an open court. You see, I mean, they would never say it in an open court that, listen, man, we're not here to argue your constitutional rights. When you come up into this courthouse talking about, listen, Your Honor, I got rights, and, I'm a sovereign, and first of all, them people know you're not sovereign. You wouldn't even be here if you were sovereign. You see what I mean? Like, secondly, you don't have a constitutional right when you are dealing with contracts. These are commercial courts, right? They're Article I courts dealing with taxes and liens, and you're labeled as a commodity. Them not Article III courts. We just keep assuming that they're Article 3 courts and that we're functioning under Admiralty law. You see what I mean? Admiralty law is what follows or governs commercial law. Wherever you have mercantile law, right? Because there's trade, there's commerce. It's followed by Admiralty law. But you can go back into even some of the older documents and study that. It's a such thing called the high tide law, right? Now, what the high tide law was showing that Admiralty law literally had no jurisdiction on the land. Like there were rules and regulations that were put in place that would restrict the pirates, right? Like where they get the words, the pirates of the Carribian, that would restrict the pirates from being able to come into the inner land and place any laws or any stipulations or obligations upon to the people. So all of this is a systematical process through a weaving of, like I said, contractual agreements. It had to take more to even be able to get them to agree with you or create some type of acquiescence with you, because they had to even create an artificial entity, a straw man, an ens legis, which if you look up on the documents, that's what it is. And a straw man, the ens legis itself, it's a commercial entity. It's an agency, an agent of the state. So like it's literally, if you look it up, Black's law, Bouvier's law, it's an office or officer of the federal franchise. That's all it is a franchise. So, you know, they'll never sit here and explain this stuff to you that, man, listen, what we're talking about up in here today is contracts. And in contract law, the contract is law. Just because you don't know that the contract exists, or you don't know what the stipulations of the contract are right now, fresh up off the top of your head, that's not nobody's problem. And I'm telling you, that's how they plan you. Like they'll show you in, you know, dealing with commerce, like dealing with commercial law, dealing with common law. What you're dealing with, first and foremost, you got administrative law, mercantile law, admiralty law, fiduciary law, banking law, statutory law, case law, mercantile law, canon law. You see what I mean? You got all of these different statuses and criterias of law. That if you don't know what you're talking about, you're dealing with a professional judge or something, a judge that's been on the bench for a while. You got to think. He got there because he sharpened them tools. He was willing to go the extra mile to force more people up under the jurisdiction of them people. He was willing to be like, man, listen, I'm willing to say fuck everybody's rights and get as many people signed up into this shit as I possibly can, because let's just face it, everybody in jail signed to be there. So now when you're dealing with these judges that already got their tools sharpened, you come up in there, they already know by the way you addressing yourself or the way you allow the court to address you, how much you do or don't know. So they'll just start playing with your mind and start pushing you up under different jurisdictions without you even knowing that you're switching jurisdictions, understanding. It's all in understanding, but the procedure and the process stays the same. That's the judge's job, because the judge don't run that courtroom whether you know it or not. Seriously, the judge is just a third-party mediator. He's a clerk, right? The clerk, that lady sitting over there, that clerk, the one that's sitting there acting like she can't do nothing, that lady sitting in that corner acting like ain't nothing got nothing to do with her, I'm serious. She runs the courtroom. She's the owner and ruler of that court, bro. Anything she say goes. If she get up and walk out, court is over. If she tell a judge, drop the case right now, the judge got to drop the case right now. She runs the judge, the state's attorney, to everybody, bro. But see, she's there playing her role too. And her role is just to let the process go. Let you get pushed as far up into it as you possibly can, because they will let you know that when you dealing with this, you need to know, you need to understand this, right? Like you have to understand this law, because ain't no more lawyers no more. Now it's just you. It's you and your own wit. It's you and your own level of understanding. That's the reason we create these groups, because at least we do got each other. Like lawyers got firms, man. They got people to help them. Just think, you out here trying to take on a responsibility for yourself because you see and witness everything that you're getting, like that's happening to you, everything that's being done to you, how hard it's being made for you to accomplish anything. So you're trying to take that responsibility for yourself, but not really understanding all of the different loopholes and jams that take place. Because just like becoming sovereign, like correcting your status is just the beginning, all the way into becoming sovereign. It's like, man, now you're taking the responsibility of creating a trust. You have to know how to run a trust. You have to know how to maintain trust minutes. You have to learn how to set up your own security agreement. You need to learn how to set up your own international hold harmless agreement. You see what I'm saying? Like there's indemnity bonds, chargebacks. Like it's a lot of things that got to be set up inside of this whole process that a person needs to understand, that ain't missing when they just jump up off the porch, ready to go head forward with this stuff. Like I said, this is the reason that we got this team together, because ain't none of us got all of the information. Even me, on a day-by-day basis, I'm learning. Like, just imagine something, and I ain't trying to switch the subject. I just learned something, and I've been knowing people that's been paying on their mortgages for about 15, 16, 17 years. I know people that's been in mortgages 20 years. I just learned that, a mortgage can't last no longer than 5 years. This is the reason that the banks that own the mortgage, they sell it, because the mortgage is a security. They sell it to another credit agency. So that credit agency racks up. But, there's a contract formulated between those two agencies on the back end to where the bank that's selling the note still getting some money off of it. You see what I mean? So, like, it's a whole process the way they playing this commercial game, bro, because everything deals with liens and commercial papers. When you're going into court, bro, that's what they're dealing with, a lien. They trying to put a lien on your all capital name. And because you don't know that you are not the name is just a transmitting utility used to do business and commerce. When they call out the name, because they got this old trickery process now, you jump up and answer. Like, yeah, I'm here. But you're not the name. The name is the actual contract that was used to get the name. That's the birth certificate. So when you slide up into them buildings, man, you're supposed to let them know you there as a third party mediator. They don't got to know who you is. But we be so scared because them people got a way of intimidating us in them courts. Because we scared that whatever, like if we say the wrong thing or we do the wrong thing, oh my God, he can lock me up. But immediately, if you scared, you shouldn't be in this line anyway. You see, you should just stay a 14th Amendment citizen until you get your guts gall and, your glory up. Until you get enough information inside you that, helps you define for you inside of you self. And then when you be able to clearly define for you who you are, what you are, you can look out there into the reality and see what ain't supposed to be there. What's really just not real. What's another figment of somebody else's imagination. And you can challenge that. And I don't care if it's a law, a statutory code, whatever it is, because that stuff don't apply to you. Constitution, it don't apply to you. That's the reason you don't get to go up in there arguing that shit. That Constitution apply to public officials, people that sworn oath to uphold it. And they say that, no, it's by we the people. Man, we the people ain't wrote nothing. Show me your name on there. That Constitution was drafted by people that was inside of political statuses that was representing we the people. We the people never had anything to do with it. You see what I'm saying? Because the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, all of that stuff, man, that's all it is. It's the master's will. It's a will and testament. It's the commands and demands, like your security agreement. When you formulate your own trust, because that's what they are, a franchise functioning under a trust. When you create your own, now you're functioning under a foreign trust. You're tax exempt because you're not using your social security card or social security number anymore. You put that to the side, get rid of that. Don't never give these people that number. Get you an EIN. And you use that EIN from now on. You see what I mean? Because you got to think, the social, when they track them numbers, that social will lead them directly back to you. But the name don't. There's too many people in the world with your name, in America alone. with the EIN, you can build credit on that joint, throw that sucker away after you discharge the debt, go get you a new one and do the same thing. The only thing you got to be consciously aware of is now how you constructing your affairs. Because if you not, listen, when you do this shit, bro, you got to think. Now, you sitting here watching the IRS just come after people for no apparent reason at all. Because why? Like Peter Paul say, try them all. If you don't know no better, they're going to trick you. If they can trick you, they can beat you. They'll take your name, rewrite that sucker, rephrase it, and then come after you. You're not even realizing that, man, you, the flesh and blood man, John Doe of the, or John Henry of the Doe Family Foundation, supposed to challenge after you be done already copywritten all of the different expressions or wordings of your name. So you let them know, hey man, don't send me nothing. This name is copywritten. You ain't got no legal authority to be stamping my name on no paper, sending me nothing. And you send them bills right back to their ass. Don't open them, don't do nothing. Because anybody send you something, if you keep it, that's agreement, that's acquiescence. That means you agree to the contract. That paper can have inside of there, you owe me $1,000 or you owe me $3,000. You don't owe nobody nothing, but because you kept the document, which is a contract, right? That's all it is, bro. It's an offer to contract. And when you keep it, that's acquiescence. That's your agreement. So that's how they do us. They know they doing us like this. It's easy for them to get us all interwoven and wrapped up into the system, bro. Some people are just into the system because they got driver's licenses. Some people are getting some type of government benefits. You see what I mean? Like some people are getting benefits for their children. So that's what I'm saying, bro. Listen, you're in contracts and these people know it. So we've always been functioning in and through common law on the private side, only the private people. Because in order to even be functioning inside of what we would consider as universal law, then that means that you would already have to understand the process already done corrected your status. You're not asking these people for permission. When you're filing these documents, you're putting these people, these public offices on notice. That's it. Now you're putting them on notice. And this is the way other people, this is the way they're doing business with your name. Whoever puts a lien on you, whoever puts a lien on your name, that's what they do. They go and put the other officers on notice. Everybody stand back. First in time, first in line. I get paid. When he's done paying me, everybody else can get what they got coming. But if you the first person to slide up and put a lien on yourself, right? And if anybody else got a lien on you already, file a UCC 11 and find out, and then you can challenge all of the liens. Because once you start to, man, you're gonna file a document that's severing all your contracts. And when you get to severing all them contracts, this is the whole purpose of it, bro. Because you are inside of crazy contracts that you don't even remember you went into. When you go into a contract with Sprint, you in a contract with the government because Sprint is a franchise that's government funded by the government. It's ran by the government. It's contracted through the government. So when you in a contract with Facebook, you in a contract with the government. It's called the minimal contact law. Now, it don't mean that you can't take advantage of any of these. You just need to understand the contracts that you are inside of so that you can construct your affairs around it. Like in the early